Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today, which will be presented by David Frisby and Mark Wenman. The topic today will be on profit-boosting power of screens and their deterrents. So I'll pass it over to David to now start the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, your day where you're actually looking to make lots of money, to join us on this webinar in regards to how fly screens can help, especially when you put them in with the bird deterrent products. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a background first, because you may find some of our standard screening quite useful. We do a whole range of screens, and obviously screens is bespoke, so it has to be tailor-made, and the advantage of that, of course, is that we can make anything that you want. So we do a whole range of screening: hinge screens, sliding, fly screen doors, armor guards, and a whole range of PVC curtains. The screens can be fitted externally or internally. They're all powder coated. They all come with a 5-year guarantee, except for the PVC. And size isn't a problem, because it's a tailor-made product. Then obviously we can go as big as the requirement allows us to. There's a whole range of meshes that we can use. So we can use fiberglass, stainless steel, and also if your customer would like the screens in different colors instead of our standard white, that's available to you as well. So I hope that covers everything on our product range. Just to give you a little bit of background on how long we've been manufacturing screens for, well, Pelsies have been manufacturing screens for 17 years. I've been with Insectcutor for 48, and for 48 of those years, we have been manufacturing screens. They're robust, they last a long time, and they come with a 5-year guarantee. Obviously, there's a few caveats in there that they're not guaranteed against misuse or vandalism, but there is a standard 5-year guarantee there. We also do a maintenance program for you on the fly screens, because they do get quite dirty, but we can go along and clean them for you. And as long as the maintenance program is in place, the screens are guaranteed for a lifetime. So you can extend that 5-year guarantee to a lifetime. What can we do for you? Well, we can do absolutely everything. All we ask you to do is to look out for the opportunity on your customers' sites. We can do the survey. We do the quotations for you. We manufacture up in our manufacturing establishment in Knaresborough. We install, we do the maintenance, repair, and we can also give you on-site support. I've already had a few emails this morning asking if we can go out and look at a few difficult jobs, and that's a service that we can provide for you. So basically, you look out for the opportunities on your customers' sites, and then we do the rest. All the jobs are individually tailored and made to order, bespoke service. We design the screen, we manufacture it, and then we install it for you. We can give on-site training, technical advice, what to measure. We can help you out as much as you possibly need. And we also give on-site support as well. The maintenance contracts and one-off repair jobs are part of the service. They'll be quoted for separately when you ask us for a fly screen quote. And your customer may say to you how long before the screens are installed once we give you the order, and it's normally within 21 working days. Introduce you to the team. We've got our fly screen team leader, Jeanette. Haven't got a picture yet to show you, but I'm sure we can get that sorted. Customer care manager, who's Claire. There's some useful telephone numbers there for you to use. There's an 0800 number, an email address, screens@pelsies.com. And also there's myself, my telephone number, and my contact details if you need me to come and help you on site. In regards to the fly screens where we fit them in our normal situations, there is an actual food regulations in place which state that windows and other openings are to be constructed to prevent the accumulation of dirt, which can be open to the outside environment. So any window or door that opens out to an outside environment must have a screen fitted onto it. If you don't open the window, and that's the where necessary bit, then the windows are to remain closed and fixed during production. And when I've been going around sites, I've actually seen them take the handles off and have the windows screwed shut. Now, obviously, if you're relating screens to bird work, the food regs probably don't kick in there, but there's regulations with slips, trips, and falls, and Mark will pick up on that one a little bit later on. So screen types. We do a whole range of screening. We can do hinge screens and fixed screens that can be fitted internally and externally. And obviously, we manufacture them so that the customer can still open the window. They can be installed onto air bricks and vents, roof voids, again fitted internally or externally. And there may be instances on some of these vents where birds are actually gaining access into a building. Then obviously you can use screening where possible. They're fully removable. Every screen that we make is fully removable for cleaning, and access is not an issue. So whether it's at ground level or whether it's up in the gods, we'll use access equipment, and we'll quote you for that separately as well. If hinged and fixed screens are not going to work correctly, then we can obviously do a sliding system. Sliding systems tend to be used when you've got an obstruction in front of the open window, which will not enable the hinge screen to work, but it'll be okay with a slider. And the slider can be a 2-pane, 3-pane, 4-pane. It can be as big as you require it. Then we move on to box out screens. Our standard box out screen is 200mm, but as you can see on some of those images, we can go as deep as you like. These work well where you've got a screen that's needed to be fitted externally because we can't get internal, but the window opens out. So basically, the window that we fix it to will open into the fly screen. That's the beauty of a bespoke product. We can make whatever you need to be made. This works well with bird work, where you've got birds gaining access through the colt fire vents that's usually on any roofs of buildings. We can fix deep boxes onto those, which again will stop birds entering into a building. You may have a customer turn around and say, well, I'm not happy with that because you're actually blocking off some of the airflow. Then we can make something like this, which is a box out screen, which has fly screens, which are all removable and are fitted all around the structure to allow for airflow.
On those ones, Dave. Sorry, no. Maybe I was saying I was going to sort of remark on the previous two that these are absolutely awesome, and myself and others have installed these. It's kind of important to remember that if there are birds going through, and particularly some of the previous examples, that maybe the birds might then sit on top of the screening if they're trying to nest there.
Good point.
So you might need some dissuasion, some falconry, maybe a bit of spiking, electric. And also don't forget, if we're doing it against gulls maybe that are sitting on top of the vents, the gulls might then butt themselves up against the sides. Cheers on that one, Dave. So we might need to do a little bit of proofing on the sides during nesting season, which is commencing now, to keep the birds out. Just that kind of integrated bird management, flush them out so they're exposed. They won't necessarily anymore. So yeah, you can tie in with more netting. Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Cheers, Mark. Doors. We could do a whole range of doors. Our standard doors tend to be single doors, double doors, and we could also do door and a quarter. No issue at all with fixing fly screens onto a fire exit door, because we manufacture those so that the door swings both ways and actually goes out with the fire exit door, and there's no impeding on exit. So it is accepted by the fire officer. So a whole range of doors there we can manufacture. Not a problem having obstructions around an open door because we just work around them. It's a bespoke product, so we can make exactly what we want. There's a few examples here where the customers asked for extra kick plate on the bottom because they've got a delivery driver who's coming in and ramming it in with his stacker truck. So again, we can make the door stronger than our standard door. All the doors come with a brush or a de-sweep on the bottom to stop rodent entry. And the doors are protected on the mesh with our ampli mesh. So if anybody's hitting the door in any particular part of that door, we can make it a bit stronger for you. As you can see on the first example, there's a kick plate and a push plate there. If the customer doesn't want us to fix to his doors, we can always build out as well, as you can see in example 3. So because it's a tailor-made product, it's bespoke, we can make whatever the customer requires. We can also make the doors lockable for quick release. Again, these can be fitted onto fire exits, and it's usually fitted to the outer frame, subframe of the push plate. It's ideal for when where a customer has his door open, but he doesn't want anyone just walking into the kitchen or onto the site. You can have the door lockable. We do a whole range of PVC curtains, which are ideal for stopping bird entry into sites. They can be put on large roller shutter doors within food sites, distribution depots, walk-in fridges and freezers, chill cabinets, pedestrian doors, and large complex installations such as airport hangars, shipping hangars, and military installations.
I think on that one, Dave, I think it's awesome with those pictures to say that will stop a lot of the birds, but the cunning little ones like sparrows and robins will still try and come in. So I think it's important for the team to remember that kind of cliche integrated pest management, or IBM, integrated bird management, that when you flush them out as part of HACCP, ensure you proof the areas around it, like the lights, like the canopies, and use a handheld laser safely or targeted falconry just to get those birds really nervous so they're not going to come back in. It's not harmful, obviously, but it's just getting them unused to that area. Otherwise, they keep going to try and come back in through that strip curtain, which will be effective. But yeah, a solution as part of an overall solution, isn't it, mate?
We do try and tend to keep these PVC curtains away from areas that are susceptible to gusts of wind, because obviously they start to lift up the PVC, and obviously that will be letting in birds as well.
Yeah, good.
Don't get worrying about well, which option is best for me, because we can do that for you. We can do a standard PVC curtains, perforated or ribbed. It's all according to what the application it's being used for. There's various PVC widths, 200, 300 and 400 mil wide. There's even different hanging methods, hook on or swivel head, different thicknesses, and obviously different overlaps. So we look at the whole application, what it's being used for, what's going through there, and then we can guide you on what we think is best to use on that particular job. Now, obviously, when you're looking at things like roller shutter doors, try and have a look to see if there's anything to fix our PVC to. If there's not, again, it's not an issue. We can put a steel joist in there, and then obviously we can fix the PVC curtain to that. Again, we can work around any problems that there are on the site. All of our PVC comes with a UV stabilizer. As you can see here, 2 examples of PVC that have been hung up at the same time. The one on the left is the one that we sell, which has the UV stabilizer. The one on the right hasn't. Now, the one on the right, obviously, there's a health and safety issue there, especially if you've got forklift trucks going in and out. The one on the left will eventually go like the one on the right. It's a consumable product, a little bit like a tube in a fly killer or a glue board in a fly killer, and it does need to be changed as and when. They only come with a PVC only comes with a 1-year guarantee. So they will go opaque after a while, but they do last longer with the UV stabilizer that they've been manufactured with. Now, when we fit in PVC curtains, especially if they've been installed on the inside, occasionally, as in the bottom left-hand picture there is already a steel in place, but it's been built away back from the door. Now, that's not a problem. As you can see on that image, we put some fixed fly screens to stop the birds gaining entry into the building and flying over the top of the PVC curtain. So you may have some of your sites where you've got PVC curtains fitted and there's a gap around the top and the birds are still gaining entry. That's not an issue. We can put fixed screens in there. So there you've got a combination of fixed screens and PVC curtains. The top right-hand picture it's not a brilliant picture. I'll describe it to you. It's a building in Manchester, a very tall building, and it's got a window cleaner's hoist, and the birds were gaining entry underneath the hoist and nesting underneath. So we just put PVC curtains across the bottom. A great application there for PVC. And then the image on the bottom right is an open cake counter in a coffee shop where insects were gaining entry in there, and we can manufacture the chill strips to go on. So you can still get access to the products and no ingress of pests. PVC curtains can be used in other applications as well. You may have a factory or a site that's got problems with dust going from one area to another, or there's a noise issue. PVC curtains will help there. And as you can see on the bottom right-hand picture, we've gone all the way across the whole width of the factory to stop. I think in this example, it was a dust and noise. This one's a great one for you guys for bird work, where we've put in a sliding curtain. The configuration of the sliding curtain can be made up in various ways. It's a manual process to open and close it. But this works ideally when you've got sort of lorries backing in and out. I think me and Mark went to look at one a few months back where they were making really expensive yachts. And birds were gaining entry into there and obviously doing what they do once they get into a building. So consider a sliding curtain if you've got sensitive or delicate items moving through there, because obviously you don't want to damage them. Hook-on system is generally a system we use with PVC where there's only pedestrians going through there. It's just a fixed track with a hook on PVC. They can be changed as and when, pretty much like the swivel head system. But yeah, these work great where you've got no traffic going through there at all. The steel, that's to be done obviously and welded to the fabric of the building. So that's to be done really carefully, and we usually sub that work out. We get our subcontractors to go in, fix the steel across the top of the roller shutter door, and then we have something to fix our curtain too. But when you come to us with a price, we'll give you a price for that separately. So you'll have a price for the PVC and then a price for the fixing steel to hang the PVC off. All of our PVC that goes onto roller shutter doors comes with the red ends, and obviously that's just to highlight to the forklift truck driver or whoever's been or going through that opening that there's the building is there. So that just highlights to traffic that there's going to be obstacles in the way, and just to be careful. We've got an armor door. So again, if you want to up the spec of our standard door and you think it's going to get some abuse, then we can move it. You can move over to our industrial heavy duty door, which is a steel plate, 3 mil holes, and behind that is also a mesh to stop insects entering into the site. It can be used for security, prevent pest ingress, and also stop other rodent activity. Now, this is a great example for bird work using the armour door. So the image on the left-hand side has been netted to stop birds nesting in the alleyway in between those two buildings. But obviously they need pedestrian access, and you can't really net all the way down to the ground. So we will fix a door in there, fix a frame, and then you can come along and fix your netting to the frame of our door. So the area is completely sealed off from any pests. We can also have a lock fitted if it's a fire escape, as the example on the right-hand image, where it's the whole structure. It's a 3-story building. The whole structure is open. Birds were getting in there and obviously doing what they do on stairwells, which is where the slips, trips and falls comes in. But obviously we couldn't net across the door. And as you can see there, we've put a nice heavy-duty armour door with a lock as well. And then the rest of the work is netted around that. So you've got access out of the building. Again, this is a stairwell going down to a basement, and you can see they have a bird issue along the pipe work. There's lots of fouling. So we were asked if we could screen off the top of that stairwell. And there's the finished product. Obviously, as Mark pointed out earlier, you may still get birds trying to sit on the top of the door, but I'm sure a little bit of bird products across the top there will assist in that.
Bird spiking, Dave, definitely keep it simple.
Bird spiking.
You got the razor.
I was thinking of having
there.
shock as well.
Could do, yeah. There's a myriad of different ones, but you really touched on a good point there, because obviously this is a fire ingress route or a key route, particularly on the previous one even, mate. So when you look at that one with the stairwell going down, actually going down, it doesn't matter if just one person's going down there every so often. You can't put a zip on there. For the guys that do netting normally, that would be the default. It's cheap and easy, but zips do lock. So it's really important to get a door in there. It ticks the boxes and it can be fitted into the frame as well. Of course, slip, trips and falls, you say, is the biggest reason why people tend to sign off on bird work due diligence. So nice one. Thank you.
If there was an issue with aesthetics and how it looked, and the customer didn't want a white door there, they could have a door which actually matches the brickwork. It's not an issue. Again, bespoke product, so it can make exactly what's required. Now, this is a difficult image to imagine, so I'll explain it to you. You're standing at the bottom of a roller shutter door, and we're looking up at the top of the roller shutter door. And in some applications, there's quite a fair bit of gap for birds to gain entry into the building. Not an issue. We can screen off the top of it, as you can see here. So that is the top of a roller shutter door. Screen all the way across, still allowing the door to be opened and closed. But obviously, when it's in its closed position, it was still allowing ingress into the site with birds.
Yeah, brush tree gets damaged regularly, doesn't it, Dave? So
Yes,
you're replacing that so much, gets dirty. Crows, sparrows, robins, pigeons, particularly the corvid family, they will go up and over. They basically barrel roll over the top, and of course, lots of issues inside any factory. So
I've seen netting as well fixed in that application, and it looks a little bit untidy, and it's flapping around in the wind, and it's got caught in the door, and so obviously. If it's a food site, that's stopping birds and insects if you put fly screens across the top of it.
Definitely. The advantage of screens are you don't need all 4 sides of the fixing area to fix onto, whereas netting you do really need to fix onto all 4, and that's not possible on those voids. So yeah, perfect.
It is, yeah. You've got a sort of a blank gap, haven't you, on the other side?
Yeah.
Another great door bird application. An odd-looking thing on the left-hand side, that's a fire escape. Open stairwell going up to a classroom. It's in a school. Going up to a classroom which is situated on the top of the roof. And that's the one on the right-hand side is the view looking from the classroom. So obviously in the event of a fire, people would run down that fire escape. But as you can see, lots of bird fouling because there's lots of protection there for birds to start gaining entry, but not an issue at all. It's a fire escape. We can still put a fly screen door on there, and there you are, a lockable fly screen door no bird entry whatsoever unless they leave the door open. But yeah, it's a lockable door fitted at the top of the stairwell. If they wanted one at the bottom, which they didn't, we could do that as well. You may have a few sites that have got a lot of open areas. In this particular case, it was a brewery. Birds are flying in there and sitting on the pipework and doing what birds do when they're inside a building. Again, that opening has been completely netted off, but we went in there first because they need pedestrian access into that area of the site. So we fixed our double fly screen doors, and then the company netted around it, as you can see. I know they're not brilliant images for showing the netting, but I can assure you it's netted.
And you can quite easily drill into the PVC, obviously, with angle brackets,
yes,
with other fixings, with a self-tapper. And to actually proof around those pipes, Dave, would be, oh my gosh, inordinately impossible. So to take a step back, doing the old HACCP bird management, take literally a step back, and that is just perfect. So simple, so effective. Stops against movement. And occasionally, if it was lower down, if there are lower pipes, you might need to cap it off.
Yes.
Like a roof going along as well. So
I've got some examples of that actually a bit further in the presentation. So yeah, that's it. It's a great option for you if you've got open areas where birds are gaining access. Again, the left-hand one is the back of a warehouse. Birds were doing what they do on that stairwell, and that's a fire escape. So we fitted a fly screen door in the middle of the fire escape. It's double action, so it's not going to stop people escaping in the event of a fire. And we generally put a piece of steelwork across the top of these openings, and then you can go along and fix your netting to our structure. The same with the one on the middle image and the right-hand image. That's in an alleyway, and that alleyway's been netted off across the top. But obviously, again, pedestrians need access through there. So we fitted our fly screen door. I think these are before images, and the pest control company would go in and fix the netting across the top of that door. So you've got it completely netted off, but you can still gain access through the alleyway. Again, this is in a food site where they've got issues with birds and cluster fly just underneath that roof void. There was actually netting there. It wasn't brilliant netting, but it wasn't also stopping the cluster fly. So we removed all of the netting and fitted fly screens. You can see there's probably 15 panels, separate panels. They're all removable for cleaning as well. So again, you've solved an issue that you've got with birds and flying insects by fitting screens across there. This is at the back of a school where, let's say 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, they would generally get a delivery. It could be anything from bread to milk to any food produce you could actually think of. And it was just left there on the steps. And obviously birds got access to it, and the rats and the mice got access to it, and then it was the turn of the children. So we completely screened it all off. The delivery driver could still get access into there. It just opened the 2-pane slider that's fitted onto the front. There's a fly screen door on the side. There's a fly screen door on the kitchen opening, but you've completely sealed it off from any pest ingress. Here on the middle one, we've screened off the top of in this case, it was a sugar silo. Birds were sitting up there as well. So we've completely sealed it off. We have to be a little bit careful about fitting onto the top of a silo, because obviously the roof has to lift off in certain situations. The image on the left is a big roller shutter door, concertina door. And again, the customer needed this open and everything was flying in there. Birds, rats, mice. It was an industrial laundrette, but they did items for the medical industry. So we needed to stop anything getting in there. So we put double fly screen doors. So you still got pedestrian access, and then we screened the rest off with fixed panels. Image on the right, again, back down to size doesn't matter. We can make it as it doesn't matter how big the opening is, we can completely seal it off. The image on the right there, they have that door open, but no pedestrian access is required. So we just put fixed panels. All the panels are removable because they will get quite dirty, but we can go along and do a maintenance program on there. But yeah, you've completely sealed off from anything gaining entry into that building.
Dave, I like the one on the silo tops because traditionally that will be netted
Yes.
around there, which is fine. You still obviously have to look at the very top handrail or the very top area to put something on there to stop the birds sitting on. But a lot of silos, the owners are concerned about fly ingress.
Yes.
Or others when they pop the tops or they do the cleaning. So obviously the mesh then takes it a step further. Most probably wouldn't have thought of that. That then helps when they do the cleaning or open it up. So yeah, same fixings obviously as what you do for netting. You can say wire rope in theory, but just a different approach. So I like that alternative, isn't it?
Also, what you have to consider when doing the silos, the guy needs to gain access into there to fit his whatever he fits to put the sugar in or the flour in or whatever. So we actually put a fly screen door on. You can't see it on this image, so you can still get access into that area at the top of the silo.
Cat ladder as well, isn't it? Sometimes where they go down the sides and then gain access through there.
Yeah,
that's really nice. Thank you.
This works well in the summer months. When you're sort of driving around looking at various openings on industrial estates and even if it's a food site, I've seen them open, and they're just using it for an airflow. So I'll call these airflow screens. So we fit them onto the roller shutter doors. They can be, because it's a bespoke, tailor-made product, as I've said previously, it can be made to any measurements that they wanted to. So if they only have the door open slightly, let's say up to 1.2 meters, 2 meters, we can put one just across the bottom. That's removable if they need to get access into there with a forklift truck or whatever, or we can do the whole thing. So that you can have it part screened, you can have the whole thing screened. If you want access doors in there, you can have access doors in there. You can have anything that you want. We do a range of a product called Armor Guard, which basically stops a rodent entry into a site because the seal on the bottom of the door is not possible, what you would normally use, because the floor's not level or the door's not being fitted right. So rodents and mice are still getting access into the building. So you put an Armor Guard in there. This only gets fitted or installed into a site when the store is shut or when the restaurant's shut, because obviously you need access into the site when it's open. So those are the Armor Guards. Couple examples there. And again, it can be white, it can be RAL coded, any color that they want. So just to give you a little bit of a rundown on the maintenance contracts and one-off repairs, they can have a visit. They can have a 3-year contract where they have a visit once a year over a 3-year period. If they want 2 visits a year over a 3-year period, they can have whatever they want. And this obviously extends the guarantee from 5 years to a lifetime. It's extra revenue for your business. You don't have to do anything. We'll do all the work for you. We turn up on site. We remove the screens. We jet wash them. And in some cases, because the mesh is that dirty, it's easier just to take the mesh out and put a new piece in there. So we clean them, remove any dirt and trap debris, and replace any broken parts. One-off repair, the spec is the same, but it's just a one-off visit. It's a little bit more expensive than the contract, but again, I thought I'd let you know what we could do for you. So maintenance contracts or one-off repairs. The RAL coded screens come quite useful because sometimes when it's a standard white screen, it can pretty much stand out like a sore thumb. So if the customer wants it RAL coded, we can do it to any color that they want. We just need a RAL number or a BS number, and then we'll match it up exactly. The process itself is really, really easy. We want you to do as little work as possible so that we can take over. You can get on with your daily jobs and we'll do all the rest for you. So at the initial phase, all you need to do is take a picture, a rough dimension. Don't get worrying if you're not very good with a tape measure, or if you're not going to get the measurements right. We will never manufacture to those measurements. So a quick picture and a rough dimension. That's all you need to send in to us. And then from that, we can do you a quote, which is subject to a manufacturing survey. Once you and obviously you put your markup on top of the price that we give you. Once you receive the PO, that's when we'll go in and do a proper manufacturing survey. And then the screens get manufactured to our measurements and not yours. If there's any change in the spec, or if there's anything that you didn't tell us about or anything that wasn't spotted, we'll come back to you and discuss it. But generally, all the jobs go through without any issue at all. And then once we've done a manufacturing survey, the screens have been manufactured, we'll go out and install them as well. Once the items have been installed, we get the customer to sign a completion document. We send the completion document to you, and then you can invoice your customer. The job's done. So all you have to do is look out for the opportunities, take a picture and a rough measurement. I think that's a very easy process for you. Again, I'll just give you these important contact details. And if any of you would like a copy of the presentation, no problems, I can send it to you. What I always try and do as well when we're quoting you is send you an image of what we think it will look like when it's been completed. Because I think if you show that the customer has more of an idea. They don't think it's a piece of mesh stretched over a window. They can see exactly what they're getting for their money. And I think it helps you get the order. So there's the contact details. Myself or Mark could send you these as well if need be. And that's it. I think I've covered everything there. It'd be good to have some questions if you've got some. Only difficult ones though.
Thank you, David. I think if anyone's got any questions, you can unmute yourself. I've disabled the mic, so if you've got any questions that you want to ask, then feel free to ask away. But it's really good, actually, David, and Mark, to see how versatile these products are.
Yes.
How, obviously we've got the benefit that we manufacture these in-house. So it's really, really beneficial for us to be able to have that flexibility on different projects. So it's really good to see that. We've got one question here. Do we cover the whole of the UK? Someone's asking.
Yes, we cover the whole of the UK, and we also cover some of the Scottish Islands, the Isle of Wight, the Isle of Man. So yeah, not a problem. All of the UK.
Can we have the screen up with David's contact details, please?
So that again, sorry.
Can we have the screen back up with your contact details on?
Oh yes, certainly. There we are.
Thank you.
As I say, I've already had a few inquiries to go out and have a look at a few jobs where people didn't actually know that we did fly screens. But yeah, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to come out any time that suits you. We can go and have a look and see how we can help you.
That's great.
How does the process work with access equipment? Because
access equipment.
If you're not familiar with what access equipment is needed or if it would be needed, what's that process, please?
Okay, so when you initially apply for a quotation, we'll establish then whether access is required. We'll know what access is required. We'll ask a few questions now, and then we'll give you a price, and that price will be separate on the quotation. So you get a price for the fly screen, supply and fit, and then you'll get a price for the access equipment, and then you'll get a price for a maintenance program if required. Then you don't have to use the access that we supply. If the site have access, you can use the site access. Obviously, if it's been maintained, then it's safe to do so. Or if you feel that you can get the access yourself, that's not a problem. So you've got three options there: either the site access of Pelsys, or the access supplied by yourselves.
Thank you.
No problem. Do we have any more questions? Don't be shy.
What sets you apart from competitors?
What says? Oh, right. Okay. So with our fly screening, our competitor manufactures the screens at the back of a van. All our screening is made in-house in the factory, so the quality, I feel, is a lot better.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I think, Dave, the team has been trained to work around bird fouling. Obviously, they've trained in COSH, trained in health and safety, trained in the use of the PPE. So
Yes,
there is some
and access
pigeon
equipment.
fouling.
Yeah.
Yeah, pigeon fouling there already. Then obviously we're trained to work around that and clean a small amount if it's appropriate to complete the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So if there's not any other questions, I don't think there is any. I'm just checking in the Q&A.
Feel free to contact me either by telephone or email address if you have any questions that arise after this presentation.
Brilliant. And I think it's just to, it's just good to be aware that, this is another option when you're going out to site. You've got your rodent control, you've got your insect control, but actually, this is also another element to be considering when you're visiting clients and customers. So
yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. Any more questions or? Brilliant. Well, thank you, David and Mark, and
Thank you.
everyone for joining. And
Thank
we will see you in the next webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you
guys. Have a
soon.
nice day.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.